I'll admittedly, I've not really watched maybe more than 5 minutes of any of them, and True Blood I have watched a good majority of, but even then I'm not all caught up with. So, what did you have to say about the Vampire Diaries on your blog?
Well, basically, this season has been so disappointing, and I let it go on for I think it's been 5 or 6 episodes without wanting to say anything, kind of thinking they could get back on track. But this has been the worst season so far. I'm so disappointed because the way things had left off last season, I thought this was going to be the best season they'd ever done, and they're coming up on a season where they're gonna have their 100th episode, and I'm thinking they're bringing out all the big guns, and instead the show is just falling down the tubes. They've got three main actors on the show, and two of the three of them are playing dual or triple roles now after this week's episode, and it has gotten so cluttered with who's who, who's really this character because they're the double of this character, and it's gotten so convoluted, and people keep getting brought back from the dead.
Oh, fantastic! That makes it interesting.
Yeah, there's no investment anymore because they keep jerking everyone around when they do a shocking plot twist because they're going to do some voodoo and make it all go away.
Well, yeah, I mean, just in general, I mean, with those shows, you expect once in a while someone to come back from the dead, but as many as you've made them out to seem, it doesn't seem like it's a good idea, and especially people playing dual to triple roles because you're absolutely right, that can get extremely confusing and pretty irritating and annoying very quickly.
Yes, it can be. And one of the characters, and this is the most ridiculous thing, had her brother, Elena's lead character, her brother, Jeremy, last season was killed. His body was cremated, so there's no body left, but he came back from the dead with no body to inhabit, and he's walking around, and everyone thinks this is great, and there have been no consequences. He's just walking. I don't even understand the mechanics of how that's even possible.
Oh my, wow. I mean, in the past, I'm actually going to compare this to a past show because like there's a new show on. I don't remember which channel it's on, what network it's on, but we'll talk about it in a minute, and this will tie into this because obviously talking about being cremated. In an old show, an old witch show that actually lasted for about 8 seasons called Charmed, they had something called the Lazarus Demon, and the Lazarus Demon kind of came up from a cremation, but obviously, this seems like they just kind of brought this up and said, "No, what? Forget it. We're going to leave no background in. We'll make them walk around. This should be interesting."
Yeah, they didn't take the Charmed route and try to explain it. They just acted like, "Oh, this is common sense."
Yeah, because everybody knows that. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And just that's tying into there's a new show called Witches, and it's on Sunday nights, and it's I actually admittedly I did watch actually all the Charm seasons, and you know what, it actually wasn't too bad because a lot was explained. It kind of had your bits and pieces for everyone to watch, and it's just one of those shows kind of like the Vampire Diaries and True Blood that it's the unknown and the mystical that kind of gets you intrigued to watch it. Now, this new one, which is they'll be going on to it's their very first season, going on to their fourth episode, and it's not a bad show, but right now I think they're kind of they're going a little bit the wrong route. I mean, just like we just talked about, they're not explaining too much, and they're focusing too much on other things which are necessarily important and not necessarily stuff they should be focusing on right now. It's something that should be maybe left for maybe a few episodes down the road, or maybe even a later season if they make it that far. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of these shows like that have failed, because they've started off like very strong, and then before I know it, the plot line is either everywhere or they're kind of recessing a bit and not explaining things that should be explained, and people are starting to lose interest in very quickly. So that's my take on it.
Well, I think I know the show you're talking about. I saw the pilot for it. It's the one where I think Julia Benichet's in it, and is she the mom? And or maybe I'm getting my actresses mixed up, but they're the two young girls, and or young girls, they're women, but
right.
They find out they're witches. Is that it?
That's exactly the one, and they're being taught by their aunt who's pretty much a free spirit, and for the most part right now is the comic relief, but also not necessarily the main focus, but right now she seems to be the most interesting character. And in this case, what happened is the basic plotline with this one is both the mother and the sister and their Aunt Wendy are pretty much they're cursed. So they've lived. They're pretty much immortal and have lived like over 200 years. But the curse is with their Aunt Wendy is because something happened in the past, which they didn't really describe too well. She can turn into a cat, and not by choice. And then it doesn't last that long, but then she comes back into human form again. And then the mother, unfortunately, the sad part about this one is her every lifetime she's been through, she's watched her daughters grow up and pass away each time. So now they're in this new 21st century dealing, and they're trying to prevent that from happening and see if they can kind of quote unquote rewrite history.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea, I think, and I did see the pilot, and I really enjoyed the cast and everything, and I've been meaning to catch up, but I just haven't had the time to catch up yet.
That's right.
It sounds interesting.
No, I've been enjoying it so far. I'm kind of losing a little bit of interest in it. I'm kind of hoping to go a different direction because I personally I don't watch too many of these shows like this, but this one kind of caught my eye because, like I said, I don't care what people say, but Charmed was actually a decent series, and especially as long as it lasted. I mean, 8 seasons. Normally, a show like that will last like 1, maybe 2. So obviously they did something right, and it was actually very enjoyable. So next up, we're gonna talk about your write-up in just a second, but we're gonna listen to a song by these Wild Young Hearts from their EP Pretty Girls, which you just did a review on. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to listen to Sleep, and we'll come back and talk about the EP. You there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought you were going to play the song.
Okay. No. That's all good. So this time I'm going to play a song. So here we go with the Wild Young Hearts, Sleep.
I've been waiting for you all goddamn day. Every time you come around, you ain't got much to say. I've been waiting for you all goddamn week. I've been spending afternoons getting wasted at the beach. Lately nothing matters since you left town. I wish you would come around, though I
Young Hearts with Sleep off their debut EP, Pretty Girls. Now, just before we get into it, Britt, you had a few more things to say about Charm, so the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say that this week CBS Studios announced that they're going to be ordering a script for a pilot that would serve as a reboot for the Charmed series, so it might be coming back.
Oh, you know what? And the way they left it, it's a possibility because, just real quick, they did have, well, one of the main witches, pretty much the eldest sister, Piper, she and her white lighter, who's pretty much like a witch's guide, had 2 boys, and plus when they finished it up, the other 2 had children as well. So it could be a reboot and have them going up now. They've taken over the legacy, so as potentially be interesting. Granted, if they can find the right characters and get the right script for it. So moving off of that, your review on the Wild Young Hearts. What were your thoughts on the Pretty Girls EP?
I really enjoyed the energy of it, and it was very California. It kind of reminded me of that old surfer rock from the 60s that the Beach Boys made very famous nationwide or internationally.
Right.
And it just really had this really cool sound. It kind of reminded me, too, of the old punk bands from the 90s and bringing back that really rich sound, that swagger. And they also have a socio-political song in there, and I thought it was really neatly conveyed what they wanted to say, and it wasn't in this overly preachy way. They kind of said it in this sarcastic, so it kind of got the listener engaging more in what they were actually trying to say, and I really enjoyed that.
Well, I have to agree with that. I mean, when I first listened to the EP, not too long before I interviewed them, it was one of those ones that, again, you're right, kind of really reminds you of the surf and the sand in California deal. But it also kind of played off a little bit for me, kind of not sounding like, but kind of the same idea as Weezer, where it's more of a fun band as opposed to putting out songs that are just kind of like either just really like, oh man, my life sucks, or or no, no, kind of fight the machine and fight the man sort of thing. So it stuck out very well, and they do actually have a video for "There Goes My Baby," which is actually very, very cool. It's pretty much done in gray, black and white, and you got the old school, almost 80s themes there because they got the big sunglasses on. They're sitting on the couch and they're holding up signs with pieces of paper, which is kind of classic of the mid to late 80s, which is kind of interesting and a really good idea behind it because nowadays all music videos, or at least all the ones that can afford to put like millions of dollars into it, which to me is just ridiculous. There's not all this kind of lights and whistles and bells, for lack of better words, and kind of like look at this. No, we spent $1 million. This, like, oh well, great. It's kind of getting boring now. Now it's going to go back to the basics and what a lot of bands are doing, and it makes it that much more interesting because that's what people want to see. It's not all about the flash. As much as people like to think it's not about the flash. A lot of stuff is just some of the basic stuff, and it kind of makes you appreciate more. Saying, what, these guys really worked at it. This wasn't something where they had like a $2 million budget. They had like maybe a $500 budget.
Yeah, I really love when bands dig deep like that, and I agree. The music videos as of late have just gotten over the top with, like Michael Bay, it feels like, is directing every one of them. And one of my favorite music videos of Studio Zero's back was the OK Go video where they're on the, I can't think of the name of it right now, where you're walking.
On the boardwalk?
You're staying in motion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, why can't I think of what that's called? I'm spacing out. They were basically just were on that workout equipment, and they were doing this routine. And I watched that video probably about 15, 20 times, maybe more than that. And it was really cool because all they're doing is I know it is. It was a treadmill. They're just on this treadmill, but that was so interesting. I just would watch that over and over.
Well, I totally agree with that. Because the other day, actually, and just now, there's so much technology where people are doing their own videos because there's either stuff either on the iPhone, on your iMac, or just the Windows Movie Maker, and a lot of them are turning out very well. And a lot of artists that I listened to or interviewed, like these guys are doing it all on their own, and the videos are coming out very well. One of them being Thomas McConnell, who's out of the UK, a very, very, very good musician, a singer-songwriter. And he's done pretty much all of his videos with that, and it's nice to see. And a band I just interviewed the other day he did it all on his iPhone because we were talking about that, and it's amazing what you can do. At the same time,